Hey everyone, this is Miles from MoneySenseMedia, and today we're talking about student loans. If you want to kill your wealth, destroy your wealth potential, get a student loan. And so today we're going to answer 3 questions. Why do student loans suck? What are your alternatives to student loans? And more importantly, what do you do if you already have student loans and you want to get rid of it as quickly as possible? Now, a quick disclaimer, this video is not going to be sponsored by any loan agency or loan officer, so please subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, and smash the like button. So before going into today's topic, now there are a couple of reasons why you might be considering a student loan. The first reason people typically talk about is the fact that it gives them access to higher education. When you borrow somebody else's money in order to pay for your education, you might be considering a program that you can't afford, so that might seem attractive to you. The second reason that people most cite is the fact that if they get a student loan, they don't have to work. And so because of that, they're able to quote unquote focus on their studies. These are really the 2 primary reasons people want to get into a student loan in order to finance or subsidize their higher education. Now, interestingly, in Canada, every year, 625,000 people get and apply for a student loan. Most of these individuals, about 69% of them, live in the province of Ontario, which is the most populous province in Canada. Most of these individuals are women, and shouldn't be surprising because more women than men go to school. On average, the student loan amount is about $28,000 with large swings. You've got people with 100 grand worth of loans and people with $2,000 or $3,000 worth of loan. Now, what's interesting is that most student loan holders take close to 10 years to pay that money back. And this is 10 years from the moment you actually start repaying it. So that's significant. Now, I can think about a million reasons why you don't want to get into a student loan, but I'll just name a few for you. The first is because of interest rates. The truth of the matter is that when you get a student loan, the introductory rate might be low, but over time that rate is going to increase. And when you add that to inflation, you're paying a lot more interest than you are paying down on the debt or the capital that you actually borrow. The second is delayed financial goals. Once you graduate, you want to get going. You want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, maybe you want to get married. If you have a student loan, it's going to delay your capacity to do these things because you already owe money to someone. And chances are when you apply to the bank or, for that car loan or for that mortgage, they're going to see that debt and they're going to say, let's wait a couple of years for you to either pay that back or earn more income before they'll borrow you more money. The third is that a student loan actually limits your career options. A lot of people close to the end of their bachelor's or their master's, they realize that they don't like the program that they're in. And it's very difficult for you to make a pivot if you already owe $30,000, $40,000 or $50,000 in a program and you've already committed to that, you've already made that investment in time and effort. What do most people do? Well, they suck it up and they start working in the field that they dislike. That doesn't bode well for work-life balance. Another reason is that it can actually impact your credit score. The truth of the matter is if you start missing payments, well, guess what? Your credit score is going to drop, which is going to impact your capacity to borrow money in the future. Another element that people don't talk to you about is the stress and the anxiety tied to owing money to a financial institution because of your education. The truth of the matter is we're conditioned to think that a mortgage is quote unquote acceptable, but student loans still feel uncomfortable independent of the amount of money you're actually making. So it does add stress and burden on your life. Now, one of the additional hidden costs of student loans is the fact that it limits your capacity to actually save money. The truth of the matter is if you owe money to a student loan organization, you can't save that money and invest that money. Now, connected to limited savings is actually the opportunity cost of actually making investments. Investing is all about timing and opportunities. If you're already using your cash flow to pay down debt, chances are you're also going to have limited opportunities to save and invest in the future. The 2 last reasons I actually hate student loans is because it actually conditions your mind for you to accept student loan as a way of living. It's not uncommon that once you get into a student loan program, you're okay with consuming debt in a general way because it's okay to quote unquote invest in your future in the aspiration, in the hopes of future returns. Now, student loans are not the same as investing in real assets, let it be digital assets or real estate or anything like that. When you invest in a piece of real estate, you have the asset available to guarantee that net income. And banks actually know that very well. That's why they're going to mortgage the house or the investment property. Taking a loan for your student loan, you're the asset. They own you essentially. And that's a horrible place to be in. The last reason I really despise student debt is because it actually amplifies your bad habits. You and I know of people that got a student loan and spend the money by buying a car, buying clothes, or buying a bunch of gadgets they didn't need. If you have poor money habits and I just give you a check of $20,000, $15,000, or $5,000 for your tuition, chances are you're not gonna pay your entire tuition or you're gonna pay part of it and you're gonna mishandle and misspend the rest of the money. The problem with that is that it actually amplifies that habit and that behavior over time. So all these reasons combined, from my perspective, make a student loan a horrible idea. So let's talk about alternatives to student loans. The first thing you can do in order not to get into a student loan is actually save money for your education. Now, I know that might seem like a no-brainer, but this is really important. It's not uncommon for people to take a year off, work their butts off, save some money, and then go into their program free and clear. And that is, in my opinion, the best way to get into a program. I'd much rather my kids take a year off, work their butts off, and then go into their program paying cash for it, than trying to borrow money that they're gonna owe later in life and then set them back for 5, 10, or 15 years. The second thing you can do is you can apply for grants, for scholarships, for anything and everything that is going to help you earn money in order to pay for that tuition. I don't care if it's your church community, if it's door to door, be a model student, be a model citizen, and you'll see that people will be ready to invest in your future. So grants and scholarships are one of the best ways to subsidize your education. The third thing you might want to do in order to avoid student debt is really do some research with regards to your program. And I'm talking about in-depth research. How many people are employed in your field of study? Do you need to move abroad in another country or another province in order to make more money? What are the employment prospects of individuals that graduate from your program? How much competition is there in the field of study? All of these questions you need to ask yourself before committing to a program in order to limit your need for a student loan. The other thing you can do in order to avoid student debt is to get into a college or community program. They're typically shorter and cost a lot less money, and the moment you graduate, you can start working immediately. So community program might be a better alternative for you. And then the last thing that you can do in order to fund your education is to fundraise. Speak to your parents, speak to your uncle, speak to your grandma. Ask them not to give you any gifts for Christmas, but have them give you cash for your education. Leverage your community as much as possible. Friends, family, uncles, crowdsource if you have to. Do everything in your power in order to avoid getting a loan for your education. Okay, so the last question is, what do you do if you already have student loan? Now, I can only share my personal experience. My wife and I, when we got married, we owed over $180,000 worth in student debt. She studied in healthcare, I did an executive MBA, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna do this program and I'm gonna start making $150,000 a year. That did not happen. So the first thing you wanna do in order to pay that debt very quickly is you need to change your mindset. You need to decide that paying your student loan is going to be the most important thing in your life for the next 2 years, for the next 3 years, so on and so forth. You need to buckle down and you need to put some sweat equity into it, and you need to attack that debt as though your life depended on it. The second thing you want to do is you want to stop saving money. You want a small emergency fund, and then you stop saving money altogether. No RSPs, no TSFA, no money under your mattress. You are attacking that debt with everything in your power in order to get rid of it as quickly as possible. The third thing you want to do is you want to get a side hustle. I don't care if you want to, teach music on the side, teach Spanish, Zoom lessons, $20 an hour, teach piano on the side, they'll give you like $15. A side hustle is something that you can do on top of your regular 9 to 5, and you could take that money and apply directly on your debt in order to get rid of it as quickly as possible. The fourth thing I want you to think of is, what drastic measure could you take in order to repay that debt very quickly? In our situation, we decided to move our townhome and then move in with my in-laws. Now that's huge, okay? I love my in-laws, don't get me wrong, but moving back with them was a bit of a shocker. But we came to the point where we hated debt, we hated consumer debt, and we hated our loans so much that we thought to ourselves that if we don't do this, we're gonna be stuck with this loan for 10 years, and we don't want to be those Canadians that are stuck with a student loan for 9.5 years. So we moved back with the parents for 2 years and decided to pay it off as quickly as we could. Now, the fifth thing you wanna do as it relates to paying off your student loan as quickly as possible is do the first 4 and then pay it forward. There is someone in your community that would benefit from your help and from your support as they're looking for higher education. Give to them, be generous, give them time, give them counsel, share this video with them, subscribe to this channel, and so on and so forth. But more importantly, pay it forward. You'll be surprised that it comes back to you. All right, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.